My style of photography is constantly redefining itself, but I think the roots and what drives most of it is outdoor photography. My love for the outdoors and outer space really motivate me to capture the beauties of the natural world.
What I'm interested in is adventure photography, and that's all like traveling and I guess like a more domestic type of photography would be lifestyle. It's more candid, I guess, and it's not as posed and portrait-like. It's more just kind of like easygoing.
I would deal with a design firm or an advertising agency, usually. Sometimes it's directly from the client. And they would give me an idea, it's called a deck, and they'd make a set of layouts and directions on how it should look, on the colors and the lighting. And
I think plant photography is definitely the main genre, as it were. I think one of the things I'm trying to accomplish with my photography is to show people what they could be seeing. So whether that's the backside of a leaf or a like rotting piece of fruit.
I take photos every single day, whether it's on my iPhone and I'm walking to class and I see some cool thing. I just want to take a snap because it's just as fulfilling as it is taking a big tripod up a mountain, setting that up and shooting star photos for 4 hours. I can do something I'm not good at. I know I'm not good at it, but I still enjoy myself, and it kind of reminded me of the beauty of any kind of art form where you input something and you react to that with your emotions and you export that out into some kind of medium, whether it's photography or music.
the guy I normally work with has a basement that's filled with things that he likes. Like if you want, say, we need yellow plates for this, and you go in his downstairs garage, and he'll have 50 yellow plates of just varying shades. It's crazy.
We think of it as something that is fundamentally true. Sometimes we don't think of it so much as an art form. We think of it as and this is evident in the metaphors we use to describe things. We think of it as snapshots of the real world.
You are creating because you are seeing the world in a different way than we see it on a daily basis.
Even if you're shooting a photo of the Golden Gate Bridge from a place thousands of other people have shot before, it's still your reaction. You're still choosing to shoot the way you're doing.
Photography for me is a way of seeing and a way of sharing a perspective. But I think once you acquire that way of seeing, you don't forget it.
With your phone, because I used to shoot a lot of stuff for Apple, when you're doing that, there's just like the slightest variations in things changes the reflection, and then just by adding just a hair of a little something over here, you have to, as a photographer, you have to know when this is the time when we move on, because we can keep working on this for a couple days, but it's not going to get that much better.
When you see other people around, like in the Bay Area especially, there's so many talented people who are around my age who take photos, and it's kind of scary to think like you would be competing against all those people to become someone, because you can't become a big name unless you make it big.
So if you take 1,000 photos, you're going to get one good photo. If you take 100 good photos, you might not get any good photos when you're just starting out.
It's a hard industry to get into, and it's something that you can't live off of. Like, you won't be successful, you won't be able to support your family. It's very independent because you have to know what you want to do, because no one else is going to tell you how to do it.
The worst confidence boost is the one you give yourself. If you aren't confident in your own self, or you are, it's such a big difference.
If you see an opportunity, just shoot all the time and shoot a lot.
One of my favorite quotes, it's not necessarily related to photography, but Wayne Gretzky said, "You miss all the shots you don't take." I think that's caused some of the biggest frustration with myself, is if I'm driving somewhere, if I'm going somewhere and I see a photo that could be taken and I don't, I'm going to regret that for the rest of my life. I put my camera on a couple rocks just to set it up, and it was so windy, and I shoot the time lapse, and we go down, we have dinner, And when we come up, it's dark already, so the time lapse was done. It's underexposed, it's not even working at that point, but as we're walking down, I realized that the Milky Way was gonna be perfectly visible, aligned over the top of Broken Top. And I didn't have my tripod, and it was probably a mile hike round trip if I wanted to go down and back up, and I was not really feeling that, so I found a flat rock. I wasn't even looking for a composition, I was looking just for a place I could set my camera on a flat surface, aimed in the general direction I wanted. And it was so windy, the first 6 or 7 photos were just so blurry and it just wasn't working out. So what I decided to do was put a 2-second timer on the camera. So when I click, I had 2 seconds to yank the camera straps on the side of the rock to support it. And that took maybe 2 or 3 more tries, but on the one it finally came out sharp. I'm pixel peeping, making sure all the stars and the mountain edges are sharp, and I realized there's a shooting star right over the top of the mountain. And I know if I got that photo with a tripod, I would have been happy with the first one, and I wouldn't have gotten the shooting star, and it would have been an amazing photo, one of my favorites to this day. But I shot a star photo without a tripod, and I'm really proud of it.